Hello and welcome. This is Michelle with PaperStampInk. Thanks for stopping by today. My goal is to inspire you through tips, techniques, and tutorials to create your own cards and paper craft projects. So today I have to share with you gift cards. Now, we're getting close. I know it seems far away right now in the summer heat, but we are getting close to Christmas, and I'm starting to prepare for my craft shows. And one of the most sought after items that I have found at my craft shows are gift card holders. And so I want to share with you today how to get 6 gift card holders from one sheet of 12 by 12 designer series paper. Now, I've done 2 different sizes, so we get 3 of each out of this. And I've done these larger ones that are 3 of the larger ones that are great for checks or cash or some of those more full-size printed gift certificates. And then I did 3 of these smaller ones that fit a standard size gift card or a credit card. So those are what we are going to make today. Let's go ahead and grab our paper Stampin' Ink. While I'm getting that, I want to remind you that if you have not already subscribed, please go ahead and tap that button below, and that will ensure by tapping the bell as well that you get notified every time I post new videos. You want to keep up on all the exciting things I have coming up to share. So for the paper, I am using one of our Christmas designer series papers, and this one has plaid on this side and this beautiful poinsettia pattern on this side. So I'm using a little bit different pattern than I used on the previous one. The great thing with the designer series paper is that they are double-sided, so you get 2 looks for one sheet of paper. Now we're just going to make, for the sake of time, one of each of these styles, but I can get the base for one of the larger ones and one of the smaller ones from one sheet of 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to take one of those, and then I've already pre-cut our white scrap pieces, and which I seem to have mislaid somewhere, but I've got some white pieces that will go on the inside of the card so that you have a place for people to write their sentiment, as well as this strip that goes alongside the front. I don't put sentiments inside of my designs. I let people go ahead and write whatever they would like for that occasion. Here's my white strips here. And so for the white, we've got this one for the inside of the larger piece, and that is 2 3/4 by 6 1/4. And for the strip, let's go ahead and do that one. The strip across the front is 6 3/4 by 3/4 inch. And then the inside of the small one, I did that one at 3 3/4 by 2 1/4 inch on that one. And then I have a piece of scrap white paper that we're going to utilize as well. So let's go ahead and get the cutter, the trimmer scorer. This is great if you don't have one of these, so you got your scoring blade and your trimming blade all in one, so it's great for these kinds of projects. I'm going to go ahead and start with our base for that. And so for the base, I'm going to take, and I'm going to cut this down first. Let's extend this arm to 6 3/4 by 7 1/2. And that's going to get me the base for our larger gift card. And now I've got this piece that's left that is 4 1/4 inch, which is just the size that we need for the smaller one, so I don't need to cut that down anymore. And I'm going to cut this to 6 inches. And that's our 2 pieces for our base. Now, for these we do need to do some scoring. So on this smaller one, let's go ahead and start there. On the long side, the 6 inch side, I'm going to score this at 5 inches and 2 1/2 inches. And that's all the scoring we need to do on that. Now again, on the long side, of this one. So that's our 7.5 inch side. I'm going to score this at 6. And again at 3. And those are our bases. Now for this larger sheet of paper, and I'm not going to worry about which side I'm cutting on, because once we get these all cut apart, we can flip-flop them around and we can decide which side we want to use then. So I'm going to take first and cut this at the 4 inch. Let me get that scoring blade out of the way. Cut this at the 4 inch side. And that's going to get me one strip of 4 inches. Cut this down. I'm going to cut a 2 1/4, another 2 1/4, and another 2 1/4. Now this is going to be excess, but I've got a surprise for you guys at the end. I'm going to show you what I did with that extra paper to get a little bonus project out of these. And then we are going to take this and cut this at 6 and, let's see, sorry, 2 and 2 3/4, right? I know, 6.5 inch. There we go. 6.5 inch side. There, sorry about that. Rereading my directions there. So 6.5 inch strip. We're still going to cut this down a little bit here, and so I'm going to cut this at 2 3/4, another at 2 3/4, and one more at 2 3/4. So now, so far we have our front panels for our 6 gift cards. Now this piece, I need to trim this down slightly, and I am going to actually cut this at 1 inch intervals here. Oops. And one more 1 inch piece. And these are going to be for the strips to go on the inside of the card here. Okay? And this again is a little piece of scrap that I have left from that. All right, now we are going to cut this to 4 1/4 inch. And another one to 4 1/4 inch. And then we're going to cut these down to 3/4 inch pieces. There we go. And these are going to be for the outside pieces, and also strips for the inside. And so actually I cut those a little bit long. I'm going to go ahead and trim those down. We actually want those at 4 inches on the inside for one of these here. Trim that down to 4 inches, and then this strip that was excess, I am going to cut down to 4 inches as well. And I believe that was 3/4. Yep, it's already 3/4 inch. Okay, so with this, I did end up with 5 of these strips. So 3 that are the longer strips. Oops, there we go. And that go on the outside, and 2 that are the shorter strips that go on the inside. So to get my third inside strip here, I did have to use a scrap piece of paper from another project, or you could just leave that blank, or you could stamp it. So that's kind of up to you. So I was a little shy on that. So these are the other two little small extra pieces that I have left, and it's not quite long enough to go across there. So I don't think that's too bad if that's all of the scraps, and I've got some ideas for things I can do with those as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way, and let's go ahead and add my bone folder, and we're going to go ahead and score these, and let's start assembling our gift cards. Now my glue of choice, or my adhesive of choice, is this Mono Multi liquid glue. That's just my favorite, but you can definitely you could use some score tape. I wouldn't go with snail because you want this to hold together really well. Just make sure you're only putting glue on these two edges so that you still have your pocket left and that your items can slide inside there. Hold that down for a moment. Give us another nice good crease, and again, good crease there. Let's go ahead and grab one of our pieces, and I think I kind of like that one on the outside this time. You can mix them up, take multiple sheets of paper and really mix and match your patterns to make these fun. But this is great, quick project for just these. And there's my strip I'm going to put across the inside here. And there you go. Yeah, I think I like that. I could go with the same one, but let's mix it up a little. And I just like this, gives a little bit, jazzes up that inside a little bit on there. And then I do have my strip that was left from cutting down that bigger panel of cardstock that is here. And let's see, that size is 6 3/4 by 1 inch is what I had left when I trimmed this piece down. I was left very nicely with this 1 inch strip, so that worked out perfectly. You can put this towards the middle, put it down towards the bottom. It's kind of up to you where you want to center that. And I don't know if you can see on camera here how this edge of this paper is kind of up a little bit from the trimming. So sometimes I like to go around with my bone folder and just make sure that my edges are all nice and smooth on my pattern paper. There we go. And we need our long white strip. I'm going to go ahead and do all the gluing down. We'll come back to this when it's time to do the stamping. And that's our inside piece. So let's keep all those bits and pieces together there. And this one, we're going to simply fold this in as well. Once you get going with these, you can definitely assembly line this and they go together very quickly. You do all your cutting at once, your gluing and your stamping all at one time, and you can really whip these together in little to no time. So if you've got a lot of gift cards to give, that's the way to go. And get our smaller piece. Let's mix it up this time, and let's put the poinsettia on the outside. And my glue is not wanting to stick down there today, so let's give that a nice good burnish. There we go. And then I have my small strip. Hope I didn't get this one cut. I missed a step for us. Sorry about that. Let's just grab this back out real quick. And this one is just going to go across the front. So we've still got this nice 4 1/4 inch size. And so we're going to cut a strip of this down to 1 inch. As well, and that's going to be a nice matting for our DSP. Oh, we need to grab the right length here. We need the longer piece to go across the front. Let's go ahead and get these two glued down. I am going to still use this little strip that's left to do a punch for the background for our sentiment or focal image. You could do whichever you choose on that. We've got some great fun stamp sets coming out with the new holiday catalog. That's going to be available for customers on September 5th. I'm really excited. I'm expecting my order to get here probably Monday, maybe Tuesday. So I can't wait to start playing with some of those and showing you guys some of those fun projects. And so I did take this strip and just punch a little 1 1/2 inch circle out of there just to give something to hold my image. And I didn't actually do any stamping on this one. I used all bits and pieces of cardstock. So this is where this little scrap piece came in, and I'm going to die cut out the little coffee card. And the reason I put the coffee card or the coffee cup on there is I have lots of requests for coffee themed type of gift cards. That seems to be a very common gift card that people like to give. Very easy. Most people enjoy something from the coffee shop, even if they're not coffee drinkers. They, hot cocoa or tea or smoothies. So I'm using from our Coffee Cups Framelits dies this small little coffee cup image, and I'm going to go ahead and bring the big shot over, and let's do our die cutting. And we'll get this one finished up, and then we can bring out our stamps. Alright, so all I'm going to do is run this through once on here, and you can actually get 3, maybe if you were really careful about placement, you might be able to squeeze 4 in there, although I think that would be probably a little bit too tight. Run this through. Sorry if I'm jostling you guys a little bit there. Trying to keep from wiggling around too much. So I've got my little coffee cup, and then I'm going to use this scrap piece of white paper, and I'm going to cut out another coffee cup to get that lid. So that's all I need of that part. But for the small one, there's not a separate die for the lid, so I'm just going to use that one and trim it down. Get my scissors. And we're just going to cut right across here to get that lid. Put a little bit of glue at the top. And glue that white lid on. I think it really needs that lid, otherwise it just loses some of the dimension that you might get on there otherwise. So I think that you could do a red one or green one if you like. It's kind of up to you. So I put this straight down on my cards. And if you like, you could do a little stitching. On this one I took a little gel pen and did some stitching around. This one I just left plain. So that's kind of up to you. All your preference, or use totally different images. That's the fun of ideas, is taking and making things your own in the way you create. And I'm going to use Pop Dot just to pop that coffee cup up there. And then let's come on in here, and on this one I'm going to use 2 different stamp sets. I'm going to use the Star of Light, and I'm just using the sentiment from this one, the Merry Christmas, and this is a great set. It's got dies that go with these different star images, create some beautiful cards with these. I have one sample out on my channel if you want to check it out. I'll put a link up above, and so we're going to use the Merry Christmas on that, and then I'm going to use some of the stamps from the Stylish Christmas for that inside panel. So on this one, we're going to use the Real Red. The thing I love with Stampin' Up! Is they take and give you, when you get the Designer's Series paper, they give you all of the different cardstock colors that coordinate with that paper pad. So we're not left guessing. We know exactly what we need to pull out. All right, I'm going to put one right in the middle there with the Merry Christmas. And then I'm going to come off to the side, do one there. And I'm going to come off to this side and do one there. Again, throw on our monotone multi. If you're enjoying my craft fair series, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment if there's something you'd like to see me address, maybe a craft fair item that you've seen before or you're interested in. I'd love to cater these to what you might like to see in future videos. I'm going to take this scroll. I don't want to cover up this whole back panel, but I do want to give it a little bit of design. So I'm just going to take my Real Red again, and I'm going to use this swirling. I just love that pattern. I just think it's so beautiful. That is not just a Christmas stamp. You're going to be able to use that stamp all year round. And then I'm going to use the Old Olive, and let's put some leaves, holly leaves up in this corner. Now these are the distinctive stamps, so they are great because they automatically give you that two-dimensional look where you get some pieces that are darker and some that are lighter. I guess I should say three-dimensional, right? We're always working in 2D. Just going to slip that card right in here. And, whoops, it is a little bit of a tight fit. I didn't want it too loose to be wiggling around there. And this one's not wanting to fit in, so you know what? Simple fix. I might have got my glue over just slightly, so I'm just going to take and trim a tiny piece off of there and fit that in. Sometimes when you're in camera, things just don't work the way you want them to. I did get my glue over a little too far there, so make sure you're careful on that. And there we go. And we have our 2 gift cards that we've created. These are the 2 that we just did today, and I've got enough materials in my pattern paper to do 2 more of each, so a total of 6 cards. Thanks for tuning in. You have a great day. Bye.